Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want us to talk about what's trending on social media space about the Senate president and the allegations leveled against him. I also want us to talk about women in politics and how women have been represented not only in Nigeria but all over the world. So welcome to my channel. Before we dive into this issue, I want us to watch these little clips.
Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it. At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear? I'm the chief presiding officer of the Senate. You can enjoy a whole lot if you take care of me and make me happy. At that point, I said, sir, I'll pretend that I didn't hear this. He said, well, the ball is in your court.
Senator Natasha and I have been also even closer because I take her as my daughter, as I'm old enough to be her mother. Senator Natasha has never discussed with the rest of us senators, and I speak on behalf of the three of us. We are older than Senator Natasha. We're wiser. We've seen a lot of things. So, and we've taken her, I have taken her as my child. There's no reason for me not to support her. The Senate is not a place where we are supposed to be fighting over trivialities like sitting arrangements. It's a place where we're supposed to fight about issues that affect the people.
Interesting clips, right? Yeah, I know this is a very interesting yet very touchy subject, especially when it has to do with gender. First of all, I want to start by saying everybody should be allowed to express themselves however they wish to express themselves, as long as it's not infringing on someone else's right. Senator Natasha has a right to express herself when she feels she's being maligned, when she feels she's being bullied. And that's exactly what she has done. Yes, there's an allegation that she has laid against the Senate president. Personally, I feel she should be allowed to speak up. She shouldn't be hushed. And I don't think it's proper to ask her, why is she just speaking up now? A lot of people have been harassed sexually and nobody has spoken up. Something really needs to happen to make someone speak up. Women, I don't think in my part of the world, in Nigeria, are open to just speaking up. That there needs to be something that will propel them to speak. And for the people saying that she's trying to blackmail the Senate president, I don't think that's the case, because she's trying to let you know that there have been preceding issues that led to what happened at the Senate ground. I watched, if you watched it carefully, you will see where someone said, Senator Ireti said, oh, let's talk about important issues. Let's not talk about trivial issues about sitting positions. Personally, I do not think this is about the sitting position. The sitting position is just the final straw that broke the camel's back. This woman is feeling marginalized. She's feeling maligned. She's feeling bullied. And she has spoken up. So presently, she thinks that it's because she's being bullied. That's why her seat is being changed to a part of the Senate room where she will not be seen. That's how she feels. And so far, my experience, the little experience I have with this part of the world I have come to, I've realized that you don't water down people's experiences. You don't water down people's feelings. It is what she feels. That is how she feels inside. So if she feels bullied, the onus is on the Senate to make her feel comfortable. I personally do not believe in segregating genders to say because she's a woman, because she's a man. If you choose to do the work, let it be done based on your personality. Let work not be done based on your gender. Oh, let's give her a little tax because she's a lady. No. The world has grown past gender selection. The world has grown past where we'll say she's a woman. That is why. And again, this brings me to Senator Ireti's issue about she's my child. I heard on the video. I don't know, did you hear that? Oh, she's my child. I take her as my child. I'm old enough to be her mother. That is one of the major challenges we have in Nigeria, and that is why Nigeria is where it is today. When the younger ones can't speak up because the older ones think they are wiser. Imagine her saying she's older, so she's wiser. Oh my God. That you are older doesn't make you wiser. It's something I've learned in life. In the country where I live right now, you see in a work setting, we have three different generations coming together to build up something. We have the baby boomers, we have the millennials, and we have the Gen Zs all working together. The baby boomers are not going to say the Gen Zs are so young, so they're not wise enough, or because they are the millennials, then the millennials think they are wiser, or because we have the baby boomers now think that they are the wisest in the room. It doesn't work that way. Everyone has something to offer, and as far as the Senate is concerned, Senator Reti, I beg you, Senator Natasha is your colleague, not your child. She's not your child, even though she's young enough to be your child or you are old enough to be her mom. That's besides the point. This lady has raised up an issue that she's not comfortable with. And the earlier we stop looking for ways to shush people down, the better for us in our country. If she has said something against the Senate president, I think it should be picked up on. As a matter of fact, in the Western world, as long as this allegation is on, the Senate president will have to excuse that seat. He would have to excuse that seat so that proper investigation can take place. As little as my organization is, if there's an allegation of bullying, if there's a harassment allegation or an abuse allegation, whoever is being accused has to excuse for the time the investigation is being carried out, so that you do not infringe on, or it doesn't stop the proceedings from going on. How can the Senate president still be there while they are investigating? Come on, what are we investigating? Is Nigeria a child's play? I'm not saying anybody should excuse. I'm just saying what the reality is meant to be and what is obtainable in the Western world. And these are the little things that make the Western world different from our home country. Otherwise, it's the country like our country, and everybody, if we give in our little best to listening to problems when they arise, then a lot of things will be put in place. The Western world did not develop because they are wiser. No, they have issues come up, and when those issues come up, they tackle it, and they create a policy surrounding that particular issue. So with that, over time, they have a lot of policies. The difference between them and our countries back in Africa is that when issues arise in Africa, we are expected to sweep it under the carpet, leave it alone. Then they begin to pull out age differences. You are not age mates. So what? So because you're not age mates with someone you can't speak, is that the reason why power has refused to come to a younger generation? Senator Akpabio's wife, Madam, be calming down. You want to go and defend a man, they never stay in your rights. I want to ask you a question. How do you expect to know if there's an extra house somewhere, Madam Defender of the Universe? How you won't take no? Your husband will come to the house and tell you, oh honey, I have this particular house where I go, it's my guest house, my private suite where I keep people. Let me tell you, I'm not saying he has a house. Allegedly, they said he has a house. Natasha said he has a house. I'm not saying he does, but it's only rational, normal to think that yes, he does have a house. Because I come to think about it, let's talk about how men do these things. Man, when one cheats, that is in a position of authority. Where do you think he will go to a hotel so that people like all these nosy people will now come and be seeing him entering hotel with a woman, and then he go cast now? It will definitely cast. And then if he has to do these sexual things, it has to be done somewhere. So if he has a house that the wife is not aware of, it's very possible. Madam, don't take a bullet for your husband. I'm not saying that all men are cheats or anything. I'm just saying, do not take a bullet for your husband. Especially one that has already come up with an allegation previously that was swept away. I remember there was an allegation from someone when Senator Akpabio was in NDDC. There was an allegation. And now this is the second allegation coming. You say your husband is a jovial man, very responsible man. You even went ahead to say that when he was working in the States, he had so many women in the cabinet and none of them complained. Let me tell you, if this sitting issue had not come up in the Senate House with Natasha, also Natasha is part of the women in politics that never complained. She never said anything until this sitting position issue came up. I'm not saying he slept with anyone. I am just saying that since you are giving that as a point, I'm counteracting your point with something to say, it's something that brings up something. She would have ignored this thing. Remember, her husband asked her and she just didn't want to talk about it. Of course, many women don't discuss these things. It doesn't make the man innocent. Allow the man to do his due diligence. Allow him to defend himself. I don't know what it is about women and defending what I don't know. Do you think coming out to defend your husband makes you a good wife? There are some issues you can defend your husband, you can defend your spouse, yes. But there are some issues that don't call for you to defend. I remember a video I watched one time of Jude Austin coming out to tell us how Yul Edochie takes care of his responsibility and all that. Nobody cares. If the onus is not on you, leave them alone. Stop spoon-feeding these men. Stop it. If you are supporting him, support him as a helper by the side. Don't stand in front of him to defend what you don't know. Peradventure, they run this investigation and it comes out correct and it comes out that it is true. How do you face the general public? You're going to be an object of ridicule if you don't know. Now, coming back to the issue at hand, the issue I really want us to dig today is sexual harassment. Some people think that sexual harassment is when you start touching people inappropriately, touching or having sexual or raping someone. That's not sexual harassment alone. There are different parts of sexual harassment. And the earlier Nigeria and the African country begin to look into some of these things, the better. It has nothing to do with gender. Remember, it's not about woman. It's not about anybody can be harassed sexually. It doesn't have to be a particular gender. So this is ruling out. And this thing we're talking about cuts across all walks of life. It cuts across politics, office setting. It cuts across even in the home front, churches. These are all places where there's sexual harassment can take place. When I got to the country where I am right now, and I started schooling here, during our orientation, the first thing we were told is, you don't stay at someone for too long. If you stay at someone for too long, the person begins to feel uncomfortable with your staring. It can be tagged as sexual abuse. In Nigeria, when a woman dresses, in quotes, inappropriately as per cultural outfit, because most times Nigeria's inappropriate dressing is a cultural thing. I've been in this country for a while and I see how people dress. But Nigeria will tell you, oh, what did she wear? That was why they harassed her. In this country, no matter what the person is wearing, you have no right to look at the person in a certain kind of way. You even have no right to go and discuss the person's dressing and the person's looks. One will say, oh, we are our morals and everything. Okay, no problem if you're coming from the aspect of morals. But I will let you know one thing. No matter how someone is dressed, it should not affect the way you, as the opposite sex, looks at the person. That's sexual abuse. Now, another thing I want to say is, when someone has the courage, the guts to come out and say that I was vulnerable and this was what happened, I don't think we should treat it with kid gloves. Starting to look for, maybe it's blackmail, she's trying to blackmail someone, or maybe it's this, maybe stop giving it names. Treat it for what it is. The issue here is not about the seat in the Senate. The issue here is about the fact that she feels that because she has not given into the sexual advances, she is being bullied. That is the issue here. So anyone saying remove it and say it's about the seat, it's not seat, it's about the issues preceding the seat. So somebody now asks, your husband was there, why didn't he see it? Remember, she said he was on phone and the guy whispered because the husband asked her, what did he whisper to you? Someone else said, oh, so why did she not tell her husband? When you're married, you know your spouse. You know how they can react to issues. It's not everything you can tell your spouse the way it is. You don't know her spouse better than she does. And you do not know if he can handle such an information as at that time. Some people are very emotional. I am a very emotional being. So if you just throw it out, the man might do something silly. And at the end of the day, we are discussing the number 3 man in the country. So you have to be very careful when dealing with such issues. Coming back to how we handle these issues as a country, I think people should be allowed to speak up. And when people speak up, they should not be bashed. They should not be shushed. They should not be hushed. And one important information, let us not try to water down people's feelings. It is wrong. It even creates a kind of mental health disorder when you water down someone's genuine feeling of what the person feels, allow the person express themselves. Anybody that has experienced abuse, because now the way this whole issue is going to make or mar the situation in Nigeria. If this issue is handled properly, more people can speak up when they feel bullied and harassed. I'm talking of both male and female. But if this issue is not handled genuinely properly, more people will crawl into their shells and say, when Senator Natasha, the one with the voice, spoke up, what did they do? Is it me in my little corner that can speak up? Instead, people will begin to laugh at me and say, I'm trying to blackmail someone. So what it means is that we should give people fair hearing. Let people be comfortable enough. When you come into an organization, it's not okay to just sign sexual harassment. You will not harass people. You sign documents that we don't eventually read. No, but there should be things in place that will take something like zero tolerance to those things. As a child growing up, we used to think that women in politics are sleeping around with the men in politics. That is the blunt truth. I don't know about other people, but we used to see that any woman that goes into politics must have slept her way through. But now things are changing in the country gradually. But we want to see more women speak up for women. We want to see more women in position of authority. We want to see more women in power. And even at that, to my women too, it doesn't mean when we get into power we should now misuse the opportunity, because if we do, it will make the journey a difficult one. But even as we are trying to say we want more women in politics, it doesn't mean we should sweep people's concerns under the chair, under the carpet. We shouldn't sweep off their concerns. So with this, I want to invite my husband and see what he has to say about this same issue. Mr. Okuso, welcome. Today we're talking about the Senate President and the allegations leveled against him by Senator Natasha. We're talking about the sitting arrangement and everything in general. You have seen those videos trending online now, so I want you to say something to my viewers out there. I want you to say what you think the situation is, where we are and where we are headed to as a country when it comes to women in politics.
Well, when I saw the video on Arise station, I was impressed, and I really want to commend their efforts, because it's very, very hard and difficult for a lady, especially a lady of that level of status in the society, to come out to say what she has said, accusing the third man of the country. So, because in Nigeria, a lot of things are swept under the carpet, because you don't want to be the one to be saying that, let me say, everybody will not be against you. Because don't be surprised, going forward in that Senate, what will happen is that she will be kept in one corner. And from there, she will become irrelevant. Nobody wants to do business with her. Nobody wants to talk to her, because the Senate, most people are loyal to the Senate. And that's a problem in Nigeria. Nigeria has 3 layers of issues that covers this kind of matter. One, we have the cultural issue, religion issue, and institution issues. And until these 3 fundamental issues are resolved, Nigeria is not going to go anywhere when it comes to matter like this. If we're talking about religion, there are some certain areas in the north, as we are all aware, because of the religion, they are allowed to marry young ladies, young girls or underage girls. And before you know, those girls are dominated and kept in one corner. Have you ever seen a northern lady come and say that she was sexually harassed? Or don't they get sexually harassed in the north?
Maybe they don't.
So we've never seen it on TV. It's either the people from the south. So religion is an aspect we need to look at. Cultural. In Nigeria, people feel that once you have money or in a place of position, you are now intelligent. You are now a leader. Who made you a leader? What have you done that made you a leader? Because you are rich or because you are in a top position does not make you, or you are older, does not make you wise. This is a cultural issue that we need to address. Then we talk about the institutions. There are places in university. We all went to school. I had girls that have mentioned about how lecturers sexually harassed them. I even witnessed one of myself. She explained to me, I witnessed what happened while in university. But what were done? This lecturer later became vice chancellors, became commissioners, and they just kept going. Nothing was done to them. For Natasha case, the best thing that should be done, the Senate president needs to step down, first of all. they will investigate. Where we are now in this country, you cannot, in the office, you cannot just talk. You cannot just touch a woman without her consent. You cannot even talk something inappropriate because of the institution. You know that if you make that kind of error, you are going to jail. Before you know, once they make 911 and you are in jail already. So in fact, most brothers, when we come into this country, the first thing our guys will tell us is, say, guy, oh boy, I should not come to this country, so
keep your hand to
yourself. Oh, why? Because of the institution in place. And that's what I like about this country where we are, is the cultural aspect. Yeah, there's no privilege being a man or a woman. We're in the sites working. If a man is climbing ladder, woman is climbing ladder, there's no special treatment for a lady. Everybody, so there's nothing like,
I'm a woman.
Then I want case
special
attention. No, use your position to take advantage of people. So these are things that are deep rooted. Now the president, you have the president of the country, Tinubu. He needs to step in and make sure the Senate president step down. But of course, because of sentiments, is my man. Well, you know, so
what did the woman say? What did she do?
What is it? Now only added the touch.
Now only added people. Out of the 4 women, then why must she be the only one?
Exactly. So these are the issues that need to. It's a pity because the way I look at it going forward, she will be maligned.
This is the beginning of maligning.
She will be just sectionalized. Ostracized. She will be kept in one corner, and before you know, her case will be thrown down. So let's see how it plays out, and I hope the president takes it from there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okuso. So my viewers, there you have it. For now, let's watch and see how it plays out. But it would be a good thing to see justice take its course. Once again, is Reality of Life with Julia. If you have not subscribed, please do so and turn on the notification bell so that as soon as our videos drop, you get to see them first. Invite your friends to like and subscribe as well. Share and then comment. I need to see comments to make me know that we are on the right track. If you think we are not on the right track, to comment. Thank you very much and do have a blessed day. Bye bye.